Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you my birthday makeup look. This is the makeup that I wore on my birthday week. All week I wore it to like dinners and like on my actual birthday, and I also wore it to karaoke, which is what I did for my birthday this year. This year I turned 21 and I was super grateful because I got to spend it with all of my friends through different points of the week. Here in Sydney with coronavirus, you're not allowed to see more than 10 people at one time if you're going out together, so I just split up my birthday into a couple of days, so that's why I had a birthday week instead of one big birthday celebration. A couple of things I'd like to point out before we get into the video as well is I do have a band-aid on one finger because I broke one of my fingernails when I was with my dogs at the dog park the other day. Also, I shaved off by accident the top of my left eyebrow, so in following clips where I haven't like drawn my eyebrows in, my eyebrow looks really scraggly. That is why. It's because I accidentally shaved off too much eyebrow, but it's okay because it's growing back in, so it'll be back in like 2 more weeks. Also, yeah, this is the makeup I wore for my birthday. It's all of my favorite makeup products right now, all my favorite foundation, concealer, eyeshadow, everything is my favorite of favorite products. So you could also take this as a makeup favorites video if you'd like. You could wear this look for many different occasions. Obviously I wore it for my birthday, but you could wear it for a special event or every day whenever you feel like it. It's a really easy to wear neutral look, and yeah, I just love the way it turned out. So if you'd like to see how I got this face and what products I'm into right now, then please keep on watching. So I'm just going to be starting off with foundation, and the foundation I'm using is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear 24-Hour Foundation. I'm wearing the shade 120 Vanilla, and this matches my skin tone pretty well. It isn't the best match when I'm my paler self, but I'm like a little bit tan right now, so it works for me. When I was on my actual birthday weekend, I was fake tanned, and so I would usually like mix in a teeny tiny drop of this like Bourjois City Radiance like foundation as well. This is in a shade that is way too dark for me. Like, it is literally not for someone on my skin color. This is in the shade 06 Golden Sun, and so this is way too dark for me, but I put like a little drop of this into a foundation that's lighter than my skin tone, and then it will like deepen it just a little bit so it's a little bit more tan and then matches my body better. But right now I think that this foundation by itself is going to match my skin tone on the rest of my body pretty well. I'm just buffing that in with this like buffing brush from Real Techniques, and all of my brushes are super dirty because I used them on my birthday and I haven't washed them since then yet because I wanted to keep the same set of brushes all through so that I was getting like the same look every time, and these are all of my favorite brushes anyway, so yeah, they are dirty, but it hasn't been that long, don't worry. Next I'm going in with concealer, and this is the Bourjois Healthy Mix Concealer, and I'm also in the shade 51 Light, and this concealer is like kind of running out because I love it so much. It has that really nice Bourjois Healthy Mix scent that's like kind of like fruity. I heard someone say yogurty once, which I kind of don't disagree with. It is a really nice fresh scent though, and I don't find it too much, and it's not overwhelming on the face. So yeah, I just put a load of that like everywhere that I'd like to brighten, and I use a combination of like my ring finger just to like pat that in, and then like also the brush to like smooth it over larger areas, just to kind of merge that into the foundation that I've already applied. This concealer is kind of a more radiant, lighter concealer, whereas this foundation I find a bit more full coverage, so I already feel like I have decent coverage from my foundation. All that I'm looking for from this concealer is brightness. I'm not looking for a load of like coverage from this concealer. I'm just going to like set over the entire face with the RCMA No Colour Powder. Mine's in this little tin here just because I don't like to carry the whole like Parmesan shaker packaging with me everywhere. It's just a bit too bulky, so I've put a little bit of the powder into this little tin. This tin used to be a Burt's Bees cuticle balm that I used up, but it's a good size for like powder because it's not too small for my brush to get in, but it's still compact enough for me to put into like a little bag to take with me on the go or something. I like to set over the whole face, especially around the areas that I applied concealer, so under the eyes, around the nose area, on the forehead, or anywhere else I feel like oils or movement might happen. But yeah, that's all I'm going to do for powder. Next I'm going to go into bronzer, and the bronzer that I'm going to be using is from MAC. This is the Gimme Sun bronzer, which is a cult classic. Let me show you. It just looks like that. I really enjoy this bronzer. It's really warm. I'm going to be using, oh by the way, to put on my setting powder, I use like a duo fiber face brush from Real Techniques. The brush that I'm going to be using for bronzer is the Hoola like brush from Benefit. I'm just going to be swirling that loosely around in there and then going through like the whole shape of my cheek with that. I'm Also taking that along the perimeters of the face, just on like the forehead and also under the jaw here and down the neck a little bit, just to give more like definition, warmth and shape to the face. And sometimes when I'm feeling kind of extra, I take a little bit of the medium cocoa, which is the cool tone shade from the Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette, and I just take that a little bit on the brush as well, and I take that just through the hollows of the top of the cheek there, just a small amount, nothing crazy, just to add a teeny bit more shadow. Next I'm going in with blush, and the blush I'll be using is the Becca Cosmetics Flower Child blush. This is from a duo, but I've used up the highlighter. But I'm just going to apply a load of blush to the tops of my cheeks. This is a really fresh blush and probably one of my favorites I've ever tried. I actually repressed this recently, and then I've re-hit pan on it again because I just love it so much. But yeah, I will probably be using this up very soon because this is a really thin layer that's covering the bottom of the pan that you can see there. And of course, if you know me, I love to take a little bit of blush just on the forehead to bring back some colour to the face, and also just along the front of the nose here. I also like to take a little bit of the dirty bronzer brush and just run that down the sides of the nose, not to give like an extreme contour or anything, just to give a little bit more definition. Just by pinching that brush to make kind of a straighter line, so that it has more of a defined look. Next I'm going to be grabbing some of my favourite highlight of all time. This is Fuego from the Dose of Colours Desi and Katie collection, and this is actually a second one. I had one before and I panned it entirely, but it's just this perfect champagne golden kind of highlight. It adds a really smooth texture to the skin, and it's just flattering on every skin tone in my opinion. It is just the most beautiful highlight ever. I'm just absolutely obsessed with it, and I'm just packing that onto the tops of my cheekbones for a really intense highlighted look. But you can put this on less intensely if you like, but for me, this is my birthday look and I wanted a load of glowing highlight. I just feel like it adds so much, especially like at night time when you're out and it's just so glowy. I don't only take highlight onto the cheek, I've been recently taking it up here to the top of the eyebrow like that, so it kind of has like this whole glowy C area like that. I really love the way that looks. Other places that I like to take this highlight is just on my finger on the tip of the nose, and then I also take this down my whole nose. Now I don't know why, but something about this highlighter makes the perfect amount of nose contour in my opinion. Like, I didn't really do a load of nose contour with that like bronzer earlier, but just by pulling this down the nose, it adds so much to the nose in my opinion. I put a bit too much on the tip there. But yeah, just by adding this highlighter to the nose, it brings so much definition to the nose, and I just love the way it looks on the face. I'm taking on my Cupid's bow as well, and also on the top of my brow bone, and I'm just blending that in with my finger because it's so easy to use. But yeah, this is a really cute like shading eye detailer kind of brush, but I love to use this on like the precise points of the face. It just looks like that. I'm just doing those little highlight details with this shading brush from Real Techniques as well. It's a really cute little brush like this, and it's really good for like the little precise areas around your face because it's so small, but it still blends things out really nicely. Next I'm going to be going into the eyes, and I'm going to be using some of my favourite colours of all time. This is the Too Faced Peanut Butter Honey palette, and inside is my favourite crease shade of all time, Peanut Butter. It is just the perfect shade. It is a warm toned kind of crease shade, and I'm just going to be using my favourite base shader brush from Real Techniques and taking that through my entire lid. Focusing it of course on like the outer corner and then taking the rest inwards to the front of the eye. Next I'm going to be taking my favourite palette of all time. This is the Desi and Katie collaborated with Dose of Colours. This is the Friendcation palette, and it just looks like this on the inside. I'm going to be taking the shade here called Suze and the shade here called Noli. I'm going to start off with Noli, and I'm just going to be using this crease brush. This is from Nude by Nature. I'm just going to be packing that through the crease of the eye, just for a really shimmery bronze. This is the most perfect bronze shade ever. I'm obsessed with it. It is the most perfect tone of bronze. It looks absolutely beautiful and you can never go wrong with it. It's really workable, really easy to use. I'm first of all packing it into the crease kind of intensely, not really blending it out alone, just getting the colour down first, and then I'll be taking another brush to blend it out so that it has seamless edges in a bit. I want most of the darkness to be out here, so as you can tell, this colour is really amazing because it builds up really nicely. So I'm just building up the intensity just in the outer corner of the eye and keeping it a little bit lighter in the front, but I'm still going for it quite a bit. Now that I'm happy with the intensity of that, I'm just going to be taking this kind of like blending brush from Real Techniques. It's just kind of a loose eye brush, and I'm going to be blending it from the front to the back. So I'm just starting off by blending out any harsh lines at the front of the eye first, just because I want less colour to be there, and then once I've blended that, I work my way to the middle of the eye, and then finally to the end. I don't start from the end just because I don't want to be dragging too much colour from the dark area here to the front of the eye and making the front of the eye too much darker. But this eyeshadow is really easy to work with, so you really just can't go wrong. It's just so amazing and easy peasy. See, already that only was 2 shadows on my eyes and it looks like there's so much going on. I just love the way this bronze shade looks on like any look ever. And finally I'm going to be taking this shade here called Suze on a like kind of flat precise detailer brush. I'm actually going to spray that with a bit of setting spray if I can find some. So I'm just going to spray my little detailer brush here with a little bit of setting spray. I'm using the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray, but you can use any setting spray or even water. This is just what I have on hand. I'm going to be dipping this brush wet into the shade Suze over here. These, like some of the shades in this palette are like meant to be used wet, and they do apply like a little bit better in my opinion when they are wet, so that's why I'm doing it that way. I'm just applying this to the center of the mobile lid and taking this also to the inner corner. I'm not going to be taking it all the way outside of the mobile lid because that will look strange on my eye shape. So I'm just going to use my finger to like kind of smudge out the edge there so it blurs seamlessly into the like bronze color that we used. And once I've taken it on my inner corner, I'm just going to smudge it slightly under the eye just so that it blurs into like the rest of the face. I just noticed I have a little bit of fallout on my nose from that bronze shadow, so I'm just going to brush over that with like the Duo Fiber face brush that we used earlier to apply like the face powder. I'm just going to scoop that extra bronze colour off because I don't want it there, obviously. There we go. Much more clean. I'm just going to be putting on that light shade onto the other eye as well. This is like the perfect pop of champagne in my opinion. I just think it looks so stunning. I'm never going to get over it. It's the most beautiful champagne that they could have chosen, and I'm obsessed with every aspect of this collab. I'll never stop raving about it. Next I'm going to go in with eyeliner, and I'm going to be using the Maybelline Hyper Sharp Wing Liner. This is just a brush tip liner and it's my favorite go-to eyeliner. I'm just going to be drawing a large wing on both eyes because I feel like a large wing just looks good on my eye shape, so that's what I'm going to do. Next, of course, I'm missing eyebrows, and because I shaved off part of my brows, sorry that they have looked so crazy this whole video, but I'm going to pop some on now. This is the Colourpop brow pomade in the shade Black and Brown, and I'm just going to be using this Morphe 165 brush, and I'm just going to draw in my brows. I'm just drawing in the tail first, just because I don't really have much of a tail. And then with the rest of the product in the brush, I just sweep that through the rest of the brow to fill it in as evenly as I can, kind of going in any holes that I might have and filling in any gaps that I have in my brow. Okay, so my brows kind of look really different to me. They don't look like siblings even, they look like cousins, but oh well, they're on now, it doesn't really matter. I'm not that disturbed by it. The lip colours that I wore on my like birthday week were a combination of these. The lip colours I wore during my birthday week were all from the Desi and Katie Dose of Colours collection. I wore the gold over the top gloss, which is one of my favourite glosses of all time. It's just the most perfect golden shade, and I just love the consistency of the gloss and like the taste and like texture and everything. Then I also wore this lipstick, which is called No Shade, which is the lighter nude they came out with, and then this is the darker nude they came out with, called More Creamer Please. More Creamer Please kind of looks a really perfect nude for my tan self, so I wore No Creamer Please the most, but I did use No Shade a little bit in the center of the lips, just to like give a little bit more shape. So I'm just going to do that combination today. I really like the look of More Creamer Please on my skin tone, especially when it's tan, just because this doesn't have much pink in it, and so it doesn't pull like pink on my skin tone. It just looks like a good nude, which is exactly what I'm after. And then the next color I'm using is No Shade, and I'm just going to put that on the center of the lips. I just just lightens it up the tiniest bit. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, so it doesn't really matter, but I love both of those colors, so I like using both of them. And yeah, sometimes I'd layer over the top gloss on top of that, but I don't feel like doing that today, so I'm not going to do that. And last of all, I'm going to put on some lashes. So some days of my birthday I wasn't wearing lashes just because like I went to cheer, I went to uni, you know, I was doing stuff, so those weren't days that I wanted to wear lashes. But some of the days I was going out that night, like to a birthday dinner, or we went karaoke one night, and so for those nights, of course, I wanted to wear lashes. So I'll show you the lashes that I wore. So for my birthday dinners, I wore these lashes. They are called the Baby Emily lashes. I bought them at Miniso a long time ago. I don't know if they make these anymore, but I really loved these lashes and I wish I could find more, so I might do a dig online. But they're just a flared lash with a little bit more lash in the center of the lash band. So they're really flattering on my eye shape and I just love the way these look. But oops, I just dropped them. The lashes I'm going to be wearing today are slightly different, and these just look like this. And this is a different pair of lashes which I wore to the birthday weekend where I went to karaoke, and like this is what I wore with the silver Paris Hilton dress. These are the House of Lashes Iconics. These are a really famous style of lash, and for a reason. They look really flattering on the eye and I'm obsessed with the way they look, so I'm going to be popping those on right now. I'm just applying these with the Duo Lash Glue, and I really like the shape of this lash because it's more flared towards the edge, which is something that I really enjoy, and the crisscross is really flattering. Like it looks really fluttery on the lids. These lashes are really famous for a reason. It's because they look great and they're really easy to apply on the eyes. They're a nice small band, like it's not overly thick on the lash line, and it's not too long of a lash. I don't feel like I need to cut it to make it small enough to fit on my lash line either. So I've just applied the lashes. My lash glue is still drying, so if you can see little white bits on my lash line, that's what's happening. And the final thing is I would highlight like my whole body because it's my birthday and I want to be glowing everywhere. I'd use the same highlight as I used on my cheeks, Fuego, and this giant like multitasking kind of face brush from Real Techniques again, and I would just literally apply this anywhere. So pretend I wanted to take on my collarbones. I wouldn't do it very precisely just because I really would like to glow everywhere. I'd take it on my collarbones, down my chest, kind of in the center of the chest here to be glowing everywhere. And yeah, I just use a load of highlight, take it down my shoulders, along my arms. Sometimes I put like a little bit of lotion on just so it has something better to stick to, but yeah, I applied the Fuego highlighter from Dose of Colors literally everywhere, and I just love the way it looks on skin. It's so flattering, it's beautiful, it makes you look absolutely glowing. And last of all, I'm just going to set my whole face using the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray. I'm just going to spray that lightly all over my face. And yeah, that is my birthday makeup complete. This is the makeup I wore all week on my birthday to all my different like birthday dinners and stuff. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment anything you'd like to see from me in future down below, and subscribe to see more content from me. And hopefully I'll see you in a future video soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!